Today, let's talk about the continuation of Season 3 of Classroom of the Elite. This could be the Season 4 of anime series. As the second year begins, Ayanokoji will face 160 new students, some showing great potential, while others lean more toward being fighter types. But the real danger comes from the arrival of another student connected to the White Room. We first see Tsukishiro inside the White Room, holding a meeting with a certain student. He reveals their mission to blend into the first-year class with the ultimate goal of getting Ayanokoji expelled. Meanwhile, Karuizawa, as Ayanokoji's secret girlfriend, enters the classroom and captures everyone's attention, though Horikita quickly steals the spotlight with her new hairstyle. Sudo is immediately impressed by Horikita's look, while Kushida is irritated, finding it unpleasant to share a hairstyle with someone she despises. Soon after, the class is issued tablets instead of textbooks, and Chibashira requires everyone to download the new Overall Ability app. This app publicly displays each student's abilities as numerical values, giving the entire school a clear picture of their strengths. With their next special exam is a written test of extreme difficulty. The twist is that since they are second year now, each student must team up with a first-year partner. They have 2 weeks to find one, and their combined scores will determine the outcome. Each student can gain up to 500 points, but the pair must achieve at least 501 points to pass. If they fail, the second-year student will be expelled, and the first year will also face penalties. On top of that, any student caught deliberately failing will be expelled immediately. Yet Ayanokoji realizes a loophole. There's no rule protecting the partner of someone who purposely scores 0. This means that if he unknowingly pairs with the White Room spy, his expulsion would be certain. Shibashira continues by explaining that if a student fails to secure a partner before the exam, they'll be assigned one randomly on the test day, along with a 5% penalty to their score. During the break, Ika begins panicking, realizing his chances are grim unless he convinces a top-tier student to team up with him. Horikita reassures everyone that they'll help in finding reliable partners. Not long after, Horikita reminds Ayanokoji of their ongoing rivalry before shifting the conversation back to the special exam. She explains that she's been scouting the first years and insists that securing a partner for Sudo should be their immediate priority. Suddenly, both of them receive an invitation from Ichinos for a meet and greet between first and second years. They suspect classes A and C won't bother attending, since they can simply buy partners using their stockpile of private points. Horikita offers to find a partner for Ayanokoji, but he refuses, knowing he can't risk being paired with the White Room spy. Shortly after, the group heads to the first-year classrooms and encounters Ryuen leaving Class 1D. After exchanging greetings, Ryuen begins mocking Sudo. Horikita warns that his aggressive behavior will only scare off first years, but he shrugs it off, saying that's exactly his intention. Ryuen then remarks that the first years seem unusually well-informed for newcomers. Horikita steps inside to find the entire classroom empty. The following day, Ayanokoji notices a commotion in the hall. 2 first years approach and glare briefly at him before confronting Horikita. Their leader Hosen arrogantly demands that Horikita kneel and beg for his help with the exam. She points out that they're Class D as well, but Hosen counters by threatening her with the looming risk of expulsion. He then challenges Sudo, swiftly knocking him down in one blow. Ishizaki tries to intervene, but Ryuen blocks him with a chilling warning, "Do that, and you'll die." It's revealed that both Ryuen and Hosen were notorious delinquents in their hometowns, though this is their first real encounter. Unexpectedly, Ryuen chooses not to fight, prompting Hosen to grab Ibuki by the throat and lift her off the ground. Nanase steps in, threatening Hosen and forcing him to back down just as a teacher arrives to discipline him. As tensions settle, a first year from Class 1B approaches and recognizes Kushida from middle school, asking her to be his partner. She hesitates while Ayanokoji wonders if Yagami has knowledge of her hidden past. The next day after class, Sudo, Horikita, and Ayanokoji head to the mall in search of partners among Class 1D students. However, they discover those students already received offers from 2 other classes and are only willing to team up with Sudo in exchange for 500,000 personal points. Horikita refuses, and instead asks to be introduced to their class. but they decline, fearing Hosen's wrath. Suddenly, a girl from Class 1A suddenly approaches. She proposes a deal. She'll partner with Sudo, on the condition that he can cook her a delicious meal. Now, Sudo doesn't know the first thing about cooking, so Horikita volunteers Ayanokoji to cook on Sudo's behalf. She agrees to meet up with Ayanokoji tomorrow, but keeps all the details for her meal a secret. At this point, roughly 30% of the students have found partners. However, Class 1D hasn't formed a single pair. Ayanokoji begins thinking about the White Room spy and how his odds of being paired up with them increases each and every day. While on his way to school, Nanase approaches him, apologizing for Hosen's violent behavior. He takes this opportunity to ask if their classes might be able to work together. Personally, she would love to cooperate with them, but she doesn't think her class will agree. Then, with a very dark glare in her eye, she agrees to attempt to set up a meeting. Ayanokoji then makes his way to school and waits outside to inform Horikita of his agreement with Nanase. Then, Ayanokoji cooks Amasawa a meal with Horikita's instruction and asks if it was good enough, to which she says not quite, but she still agrees to partner with Sudo anyway. Amasawa takes her leave, and Ayanokoji takes some time, thinking whether or not Amasawa could be the spy. They've met with Nanase to discuss a cooperative relationship, but Class 1D can't agree with this because Hosen believes in individualism. At this point, Horikita realizes that Hosen holds total control over this class, so she wants to speak with him directly. A few moments later, she talks to Hosen over the phone, who rudely tells her to pay up or fuck off. Then it's that very same night that Ayanokoji receives a phone call from his girlfriend, who informs him that the store has only sold one of a certain item. You then find out that Kei managed to secure a partner through Kushida, but she also admits to slacking on her studies, which is why Ayanokoji invites Kei to come to his room tomorrow evening. The following day, they head back to the library to meet up with Nanase once again. She arrives 30 minutes late because she was attempting but failing to convince Hosen to come as well. Nanase offers up the idea of making a secret deal behind Hosen's back, but Horikita immediately declines, prompting Nanase to reveal that this proposal was just a test of Horikita's resolve. She then explains her plan to force a meeting with Hosen this coming Sunday, which Horikita agrees to before leaving the two of them behind. Then, with a dark look in her eye once again, Nanase states that she suspects Ayanokoji of being a bad person, though she apologizes shortly after, as they begin discussing the school. When Kei studying on Ayanokoji's room, Amasawa rings the intercom. Kei angrily moves to answer, but Ayanokoji steps in and lets her inside. Amasawa casually claims that Ayanokoji is her personal chef and says she's only there to look for a missing hair tie. She quickly finds it in the kitchen before leaving, but not without fueling Kei's anger even further. Meanwhile, with only about 50 pairs left unformed, Ayanokoji grows increasingly anxious about accidentally ending up with the White Room spy. To ease his concerns, he heads to the mall to scout first years, where he runs into Sakayanagi. She's already aware of the possibility of a hidden spy and even offers him a partner she has secured. But Ayanokoji declines, insisting on keeping control over his own choices. Shortly afterward, he's approached by two unfamiliar first years, Tsubaki and Utamiya. Tsubaki offers to partner with him, no strings attached, but the proposal feels suspicious. Ayanokoji declines, claiming he already has someone in mind, and now Sato suddenly leads Kei to a quiet spot and bluntly asks why she broke up with Hirata. Suspecting something deeper, she presses further, even demanding to know whether Kei is secretly dating Ayanokoji. Kei eventually admits the truth, that she is Ayanokoji's girlfriend, and recalls how her feelings developed around the time of their double date. Overcome with emotions, Sato slaps Kei, tears in her eyes before whispering, "Now we're even." The tension eases as they hug and reconcile, with Sato accepting that Ayanokoji never returned her feelings and that love can't be controlled. By Sunday evening, the group arrives at their scheduled meeting place. Soon, Nanase and Hosen show up right on time, and Horikita proposes a cooperative alliance. Hosen dismisses the idea outright, though Horikita clarifies that Class D won't buy partners with private points, Hosen demands 1 million points as collateral. When she refuses, he grabs her by the collar. Sudo is ready to intervene, but Horikita holds him back. Changing tactics, Hosen challenges them to a fight as the price for cooperation. Sudo is eager to accept, but Horikita ends the negotiations. In response, Hosen splashes her with water. Sudo lunges at him, but Horikita restrains him once more as they attempt to leave, only for Hosen to chase them down and raise the price to 3 million points. Horikita laughs at the absurdity, angering Hosen into lashing out. She turns to walk away, but he charges forward, only to be blocked by Sudo. The two hotheads clash fiercely. Nanase calmly explains that President Nagumo gave them leeway for some violence. Hosen quickly gains the upper hand, tricking Sudo into looking at Horikita, before flooring him with a powerful hook. Horikita steps in, but is swiftly overpowered. Then Hosen escalates further, pulling out a knife and threatening to kill Ayanokoji unless they hand over 5 million points. Nanase tries to intervene, but is shoved aside. With the blade held in a reverse grip, Hosen advances on Ayanokoji. He said what's so special about him, and as the knife swings down, Ayanokoji deliberately charges forward, catching the blade with his own hand. Everyone was shocked with the deadly battle, but Ayanokoji still remained calm, and no reaction on his face, even he was stabbed by a knife. Revealing the truth, Ayanokoji explains that this is the same kitchen knife he had used for cooking, and that Hosen was planning to stab himself to frame Ayanokoji for attempted murder. To counter this setup, Ayanokoji had no choice but to take the injury himself, leaving Hosen splattered in blood. From this point, Ayanokoji concludes that a bounty has been placed on his head and that the knife was planted by Amasawa, the same night she conveniently showed up while he was studying with Kei. Clearly shaken, Hosen asks, "What will happen next?" Ayanokoji calmly offers to keep the entire incident quiet under two conditions. First, that their classes establish a cooperative relationship, and second, that Hosen becomes his partner. His reasoning is straightforward. The White Room spy would prefer to stay hidden, which is the complete opposite of Hosen's loud and reckless behavior. Hosen accepts the deal and leaves, but he's really wondering about the mysterious man Ayanokoji, thinking that he was already rolling on Ayanokoji's hand from the start. By everyone's surprise, the one who really can't believe what happened is Sudo. Looking back, that Ayanokoji is gloomy, but to tell that he was this strong and capable. Horikita was very shocked too, and tried to ask about the knife on Ayanokoji's hand, but Ayanokoji takes it like nothing happened. Afterward, Ayanokoji contacts Chibashira-sensei, requesting her help, and a towel. Nanase then explains that certain first years had been given a special mission, to expel Ayanokoji. The reward for success is 20 million private points, which explains why Hosen was ready to stab himself to frame him. Horikita isn't satisfied with that explanation, and presses for more details. But Ayanokoji simply tells her to let it go. Nanase then fixes him with a chilling look. Her eyes are dark as it was pure hatred. She tells him he never should have come to this school. Stay tuned and subscribe for the following videos. See you next time.